Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, this was a lot. It was a lot. Let's start with Allie and, Allie and Trip, because this is a storyline that seems like it has no end. Allie's into talking to Lucas, and she gets a call from the London police because she decided that she wanted to file, she wanted him extradited and, to get justice out there. Well, while she's waiting for the call back, she talks to Lucas about, telling her Sammy and stuff like that, and, she's worried and thinking that Sammy's going to blame her. But then Lucas tells her a story about how, the same thing that happened to Allie happened to Sammy. And, Sammy, the guy got off, going around town, bragging about it, and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my own damn justice. So, she got a gun, and, she took care of him. And he deserved every single thing that she gave him. So I was like, you know what? Good job for Sammy. Yeah, he got exactly what he deserved. And Allie hearing that gets a call from the police, and the London police pretty much was like, yeah, we can't do anything. Because as far as we're concerned, he said, she said, yeah, we can't do anything. So she's mad and she's upset. She goes over Tripp's house, and she has a gun. I was like, I don't even know what to say about that with Allie. I'm just like, so you heard that your mother did it, and you thought it was a good idea for you to do it. Christ, what the hell, Allie? Listen, this guy got exactly what he deserved. I felt that personally, Sammy should just shot this guy's penis off. Like, just let him live the rest of his life like that. Because at that point, yeah, he's definitely not raping anyone. And he's also never going to enjoy himself anymore. Ever. But, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I really don't. I'm just like, wow. I probably will come back to that towards the end, maybe. But, let's talk about something that's more exciting at this point. Just something that's just not dealing with that. So, Charlie, I was about to call him Dale for some reason. Charlie gets caught behind Philip's computer. And at first, Charlie comes up with some BS story about how you couldn't check the reports or something like that. And, Philip was like, and, what about your phone? Why couldn't you check the marketing reports on your phone? And, of course, he just keeps trying to come up with the same BS excuse. It doesn't work. And Philip was like, alright, so, you're fired. And I'll just have security just, take you off the premises. And that's when Charlie was like, so, I'm gonna throw Xander under the bus. And at first, I was like, is this some, and maybe this could be some sort of, double agent or something like that. Because, honestly, to tell you, at this point, this was pretty much the only thing that was going to get him out of the trouble that he was in. He was like, Xander put me up to it, and he told me to spy on you, and yada, yada, yada. And Philip being Philip, instead of firing this guy, which, let's be honest, he should have did, Philip was like, I want you to tell him nothing. I want you to sit there and say that you found nothing. And then he starts bragging about how, Xander's trash and he's so much better and, I understand that you were backing the wrong horse before, and I'm sitting there thinking, Philip got a lot of problems. Um, but one of them that's just a glowing that just comes up to mind is his arrogance. Okay, he is so concerned with one-upping Xander and, boasting to the young and impressionable Charlie that he's like, oh, me and you, we're going to go to the finish line because you got the right guy. You're backing the right guy this time. Don't worry. I'll teach you the ropes. I'm just like, your vanity, among many others, is going to be your downfall. And, I'm going to watch and I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy the ride of when you fall flat on your ass. 'Cause that's going to be great. And yeah, so he believed it because he wanted to, because he's just so that kind of person. So, it got Charlie off the hook, as far as, being employed, but, I don't know how he's actually going to explain that to Xander. That's... So yeah, I have no idea how he's actually going to get out of that one with Xander, but should be interesting. Also, Claire was there talking to Kayla. They were talking about Trip and how, she didn't know that he was a rapist and yada 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 yada. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, it really didn't go anywhere. So, I'm not going to lie, I kind of tuned most of it out. But then after that, she went over to Titan. I think they were talking about Ciara and stuff like that too. But she went over to Titan, and Charlie was like, "Oh, you got a new necklace. When did you buy that?" And that's when Claire was like, "No, Ben gave it to me." And at that point, he went right back into him being insecure. Now I get it to some extent from yesterday, because she was being very dismissive and just kind of just like, oh yeah, he doesn't mind or whatever, like just rude. So to his credit, I understand where he's coming from as far as what's going on. Like, are you and him a thing or whatever? But then I'm also kind of looking at this like when Claire was like, no, we're not a thing, and we just love Ciara, and that's about it, and yada yada yada. I'm sitting there thinking about this from her point of view also, because I'm just like, all right, something that Charlie said was like, every time I turn over, every time I walk around, I'm always like tripping over one of your ex-boyfriends or whatever. And I kind of looked at that like, Claire, that should kind of be a red flag a little bit. Because while I do understand you are being very dismissive and whatever, and this isn't the first time that he's caught you with somebody else or whatever, how much more are you going to sit there and take it as? Like, does every guy that walked past you that knew you, whatever, you're going to be sitting there being like, so what's the story with him? I mean, are you with him now? Like, you know what I'm saying? The constant justifying, the constant, like, reassuring, it's going to get to a point where it's going to be, like, annoying. But then, she reassured him, and they walked out, and I'm not going to lie, Charlie said this really cringeworthy line of, let's blow this joint. I was like, man, I'm wishing I didn't hear that. I really wish I could actually unhear that, but sure, let's go with, let's blow this joint. Wow. And it's something that Kayla said also when she walked out, so let me try to remember what she said. So Trip is there talking to Steve, and at the time Trip doesn't know that they decided not to, pursue this any further. But Trip is worried and stuff like that, and, Steve tries to reassure him. And then Kayla comes in, and Trip just kind of walks out. He's just like, I'm not, whatever. Now, at this point, there's an argument, there's tension already, because, Kayla, well, Steve is talking about how they may pursue this whole case in London, and I don't remember what Kayla said, but Steve kind of took this as like, so almost sounded like that's a good thing, like you're celebrating or whatever. So they get into an argument, and then after a while, Kayla gets a call from, a page from the hospital, because apparently they still have pagers. Did they really still have pagers? Please tell me that was a cell phone. Please tell me that pagers is still not a thing. They're going back and forth, and you know what? To both of their credit, they both have valid points. Because from Kayla's point of view, she's like, well, the science backs up my argument. I don't believe it, but the science is there. The science is there. The proof is there. And, Steve was like, this is not the first time stuff has been tampered with. You don't sleep at the lab all night. Like, you have no idea what happened. And so they're going back and forth. And I'm just sitting there thinking, when Kayla leaves, and Steve, tells Tripp it's not a big deal because Steve, Tripp feels kind of guilty. Steve was just like, oh, we both have large tempers or whatever, and we'll cool off and we'll be fine. And I'm just like, I don't see this getting any better. As a matter of fact, I see this actually becoming a lot worse, because you got a situation where they both feel strongly about their positions, and it's like, how much are you willing to sit there and compromise to the point where you're just like, you can't compromise anymore? Like, there's certain things on this planet that will just divide people, no matter what. Religion, politics. And so, this whole back and forth thing, and they're just, staying in the same house, sleeping in the same bed, talking, and it's like, you can't ignore the elephant, especially when it's like right in the same house. So I'm just wondering, how long is this whole back and forth thing gonna go before somebody has to move out? Because I'm still waiting. I'm really, really waiting. Now, Sarah has this plan with Xander as far as them faking a breakup. Xander is obviously not too excited about it, but if the end goal kind of, is the end goal is what matters. So he just agrees to do it. So they stage an argument when Philip gets back, and they pretty much break up right in front of him. Now, Philip just buys it. See, this is another one of those classic examples of Philip is just going to sit there and believe a lie because it works towards his own vanity. The fact that they could just have one argument like that and it just breaks them up over Philip. Because, he's just that special. So they break up or whatever. They fake break up. Not before Xander. Christ, Xander. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I am so glad that he actually has Sarah, because I feel like there's a lot of times where Xander can be cunning and ruthless, but when it comes towards certain things like logic and whatever, it's like he doesn't really think. And so it's like you have Sarah that is going to be his thinking, his brain. There's one part where Philip is like, you're laying it on a big dick. Dude, what are you... Even Sarah looks at him like, what's wrong with you? And Philip walks over like, huh? What was that? And so they start arguing again. And of course, at this point, Philip is just like, yes. Like this Bond villain that he's just like doing this or whatever. So I'm just like, alright. And anyway, they break up, they walk out. Well, Xander walks off. And Philip gives Sarah a hug. Like, he was just waiting, too. Like, this wasn't one of those, natural hugs where he just walked up like, oh, it's okay. He was just like, bring it on in. come to Xander. I mean, come to Philip. You know, the guy's gonna make everything okay. Like, just wow, bro, just wow. So he hugs Sarah, and Xander pops back in the room. I'm like, bro, are you whatever? So while that's going on in prison, you got Ava talking to Kristen, and Kristen is like, yo, Xander's looking into you. What's going on? So, Ava kind of fills him in on the whole money laundering and, why Philip is in the, is in the hole that he's in with her. And, before Ava goes, because she's just wondering, like, how did he find out? So now she has to kind of figure out, like, how does he know about, like, my alias, coming in here or whatever. And she's like, listen, if Philip doesn't take care of Xander, I will. So yeah, and I think that's 1 second. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Allie. Allie, here's the thing about Allie. I feel like her family is responsible for the way that she turned out. Babying her, coddling her, constantly making excuses for her, and I know I said this before, but this is the reason why she's the way that she is. Okay? So, she heard a story about her mother getting her own brand of justice by, shooting her attacker. And she decides that's a good idea. I mean, it just like... part of me is sitting there saying you can't be that dumb. Okay? But let's just take it with a grain of salt. And be like, you know what, listen, she's mad, she's angry, she wants justice, this happened to her, it's horrible, it's terrible, and it is. She wants justice. The legal system failed her. She wants to get her own justice. I get that. I 100% get that. I am totally behind that. Here's the thing. You have a child. Did you not sit there and think about what happens if you decide to kill Tripp and you go to jail for life? I mean, granted, your family's going to sit there and take care of them, but I mean, your son would like to know you and not know you from behind bars. But, Allie is not the type of person that really, thinks. Not really. She really doesn't think. And she seems like she's just very impressionable and very, dim. So, her doing this, her going to shoot Tripp, I feel like this is partly on her family. Now, granted, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own actions. You make your own choices. You deal with your own consequences. So, half of that's on her. I'm not going to sit there and blame her family totally, but Christ, I mean, really, that's your plan? You're just gonna come there in the middle of the broad daylight and just shoot him, and what? What's the plan after that? Because this isn't one of those things. This isn't one of those things where she's just so angry that she's seeing red and that she did it out of just pure blind anger. This is thought out. This is, I heard a story. I think it's a good idea because I heard this person say something. Let me go and do it. Wow. And with that being said, yeah, that's actually going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. And, wow, Allie. Just, wow. But again, my favorite parts had to do with Xander and Sarah and all that stuff. That is what's making it, what made this episode work, because the whole Tripp and Allie thing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of done about it. The only thing that I actually did like is that I didn't know what happened to Sammy. And as much as I do not like Sammy, let's be very clear, I called her a damn Karen for a reason. I don't feel like that should happen to anyone. And so, on that note, Sammy doing what she did, yep, I am totally for it. Absolutely. I thought she personally should have went for the penis, but I guess killing him works too. But I don't know. I don't know the whole story because Lucas didn't really finish it. But anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I know this kind of came off a little bit longer than normally, but yeah.